Yeah, we'll have to come up and check you guys out because hey, you got like you said, you got the sports teams, but not only that, did you guys get the
It's no doubt that it is booming here. Omni is very blessed to be right in the heart of uptown Charlotte. We're just really less than a mile out from the Panther Stadium.
Hi, this is Ted Kelly with another Ted's Hospitality Minute. Hey, today we've got an awesome guest on. His name is Hayato Nogaki. He is the general manager for the Omni Charlotte Hotel, which is fabulous. And he's going to come on and talk a little bit about what's going on there and also talk a little bit about him. We're always interested in learning and knowing more about our guests. Hi, Hayato. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Ted? Thanks for having me on.
And man, thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. Obviously, we're interested in hearing about all the great things that's going on there in Charlotte at the Omni. But before we do that, we always like to take a minute and let our guests talk a little bit about their hospitality track. So, Hayato, tell us a little bit about how you got into the hospitality track.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when I graduated university, I was still living in Japan at the time, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I loved the hospitality business, and I was always intrigued in it. I didn't go to school for it, but I was intrigued. So I picked, I had an opportunity presented to go to work for the Ritz Carlton. So I picked up, grabbed a couple suitcases with me, and then ventured off to Hawaii, and that's how I started this business. Over 20 plus years ago. I started off at the Ritz Carlton, just kind of being a restaurant reservationist, doing a couple different jobs in food and beverage. That's my primary background, and my first management job opportunity was with the Ritz Carlton as an assistant executive steward, and then became an executive steward. But I really started with nothing and really worked my way through, and from there, the opportunities have taken me to various parts of the country. I moved to Charleston, South Carolina in 2004 to go open an amazing five-star hotel called the Sanctuary at Kiowa Island. And I continued to work through. I've worked in California a couple of times as well. Just have surrounded myself with people that was the best at what they did. And that was really always my motivation. I love traveling. And so I've moved around tremendously throughout my career, which was always fun, different opportunities, different exposures. But I worked for an independent company for a little over 10 years called the Salamander Hotels and Resorts as well. And then that's where I was most recently before I moved to Charlotte here with Omni. I was back in Charleston at a hotel called Hotel Bennett. And that was that's a Salamander managed property. And then an opportunity came about with Omni that I just couldn't pass up on, and that's how I came to this beautiful Queen City of Charlotte with Omni.
Wow. So you've left a what I call a drive to tourist destination, water, beach, sun, old historic stuff, and you move to an urban city with lots of hustle and bustle activity going on all the time. How's the switch been for you?
It's been great. I think it's every destination and every environment that I've had the privilege to work in is always something different. And that's what I love about this business. That's what I love about the hospitality, but also tourism, where it gives me an opportunity to be exposed to so many different things. And partially, a big part of that, I think, stems from the fact that growing up, my father was in a large Japanese corporate company. And so every 5 years, he would get moved between LA, New York, Tokyo. And so I was just always used to moving and experiencing different places and different culture, different background, different everything. And so I definitely love the beach life. I've lived in Hawaii for a long time as well. My son lives over there. It's just, I love that world, but it's been great. It's a very different mentality, of course. And Charlotte is such a booming city, and it will continue to really be robust. So it's definitely been an adjustment, but it's been a rewarding adjustment so far.
Yes, I'm sure the Queen City is a little different It's a great environment, though. You've got so much activity and you got so many sports teams there, so it makes it obviously easy to have things to do, and people want to come into the city for those events. So it's got to be a great at least entertainment spot and probably business travel spot as well.
Yeah, it's no doubt that it is booming here. We're Omni uh, is very blessed to be right in the heart of uptown Charlotte. We're just really less than a mile out from the Panther Stadium. We're almost basically across the street from the Spectrum Center where the Charlotte Hornets play and all the concerts take place. Restaurants and bars are just popping up everywhere within a 15-minute radius, and then of course directly in the city. So just lots of fun things. This city of course, has always been it's a bank driven city with all of the major banking that's here. So we get a tremendous amount of business travelers. But I think since COVID, we've had we have some shift in dynamic. I think it'll still be a primarily a dominant business travel city, but I think we're starting to see a big shift in seeing a lot more transient come through because of all the activities that takes place, and just the vibrancy of everything that the city is happening. So, so we're blessed to be in this spot right here in this location, and we can't wait to continue to see all the things that the city is going to grow into. But it's fun. It's fun to see it.
Yeah, that's one of the great things I think about uh, the THM and all of the different guests that we have on our show is that they all have so many different varied experiences and backgrounds, and the current place that they may be in while we're talking to them is so different and unique. And there's always pros and cons, but there's also such great information that I think our audience can take away from having all the varied guests on our show. And again, that's one thing I always try to remind our viewers and our audience is that please remember when you take a chance to look at our episodes, please remember to like us on LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn. Obviously, we'd love for you to do that, but also take a look at our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and also remember that we're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. Just to remember that. Hey, and talk a little bit now, Hayato, about what you learned during COVID and how that's impacted your skills and lessons learned, and how you may be applying some of that to there in Charlotte.
There's so many things, right, that COVID has opened our eyes for. Um, I think part of what I've learned specifically, and it's interesting because when COVID hit, I was still in Charleston, and then shortly after, I moved here to Charlotte. So seeing both cities still very similar, um, in what the experience is industry wide as well. But I think more than anything else, I think it's really the importance of being mindful of our associates, doubling down on taking care of our associates because you just never know what happens. And during this COVID times, we've experienced tremendous hardship, turmoil, and difficult times that we needed to all overcome, and that we can't do this alone. And same with the customers, and we have to keep innovating, of course, and that's a given. But not just innovating to provide new stuff, but just how to really continue to take care of our guests and provide that memorable experiences in this business. And I think whether it's business travel or leisure guest or group guest, they're all traveling for a reason, and we can't take it for granted that they're selecting amongst so many that they can choose from. And it's just getting back to the basics, I think, is tremendously important. That it's a lesson that I learned during that time.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that the Omni there being located in an interurban area, those areas seem to get hit a little bit harder than places like Charleston due to the fact that folks weren't really trying to gravitate towards cities. They were really trying to gravitate toward the coast and the beaches. So I guess your time there at the Omni, are you seeing where your occupancy levels have come back completely? Or are they gradually coming back? How's the occupancy level there in Charlotte?
It definitely was very different. I think Charlotte was one of the slower cities to return because it was such a heavy business travel destination. And when all of the banks were working remote and so forth, I think it just made it very, very difficult for the city to really thrive. Charleston definitely opened the floodgates very quickly, and we saw a tremendous amount. And here in Charlotte, it definitely wasn't. Having said that, last year, um, it just it just excelled, right? Even though it took a little longer time to recuperate and recover, last year we definitely saw the effect of its recovery, and we had tremendous success last year, which is great to see. And I think that again, both from business travel, also with some transient, of course, and then also group business. So, it's a great story to have, and this year's no different. We're starting to see some softening, of course. I think as everybody is in the market, but we've still seen a gradual growth. Are we at the capacity that we were in back in pre-COVID? Probably not there yet, but we're making our way, which I think is a great sign, and the trajectory is looking positive.
Yep, yep. I think that's I think everybody's kind of seeing the numbers come back, and I think the expectation, and should I say the hopes are that things are going to be way better than pre 2019 levels, and I think it will. I think the next 24 months and on are going to be pretty good for the hotel industry, and I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, because we're a third party project management firm, and we actually specialize in the PIP renovations and major maintenance capex type work. So the previous 24 months has been relatively slow compared to what it looks like now. Things are really picking up, and that's a good sign for the industry.
Yeah, I agree.
So tell us what's coming up there in Charlotte. Any great events coming up there in the near term?
I think it's the summer, and we love our summer here because here at Omni we have this amazing rooftop pool and bar, and it's one of the largest pool in the city that we have. There's a couple other rooftop places around the city, of course, but ours is probably one of the largest there is out there, and so it's always a fun time out here in the city when you can just hang out poolside, have beverages, enjoy a little bit, walk down to go see a concert later that night, or just whatever it is that needs to happen. So we've waited for a little bit to get to this summer season, but here we are now, and we're excited for that for that pool top access. And really, it's called Coin Bar, and it's for hotel guests only. However, we have resort pass access so that anyone that's just traveling through or staying at another property, or even locals that wants to just come in for the day, or just hang out for the weekend and then come in, they have accessibility to be able to acquire day passes to be able to enjoy our pool. So that's a big piece there. And it's football season's around the corner, so of course all sports, we have two major jumbotron on the pool above the bar, so that the games are always played on there. Major sporting events are out there, so it's a fun atmosphere and an environment. And some of a lot of the weekends we'll have DJs up there as well. So just that's probably the big piece that's coming around the corner, or that's already started, and then it'll get heated up even going into the summer.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're gonna make the trip up the road here. I'm down in Greenville, so I'm not that far from you guys. I'm gonna have to come up and
Oh,
spend the
you're just
weekend
down the
there with you
street.
guys.
You'll have to let me know. Yeah, you guys have to come down there.
Yeah, we'll have to come up and check you guys out because, hey, you got, like you said, you got the sports teams, but not only that, didn't you guys get the number one draft pick for the Panthers this year and the quarterback? I think you got
You're,
Bryce Bryce Young.
yeah,
Isn't that
Bryce
it?
Young. Yep.
Yeah. So you guys are going to be you're going to be all over the TV screen coming up here shortly because I know they've got some real high expectations for that young man.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting season. So fingers crossed. Yeah, absolutely. I think Omni in the 2 years that I've been has been nothing short of amazing. The company is as a whole, currently has 52 properties around the country. It is an amazing culture that they have. And it's really about servant leadership. They really take care of their associates. And of course value the customer service and really emphasize the training, and then opportunities. They have what's called grow in the garden, and so they focus tremendously on internal growth and promotion, so that they reward everybody that is loyal and that works hard and that has opportunity, and they'll always look within first to really grow the garden. And I think that's just fantastic, right? And I think this day and age, I think that's the most important part, is that with staffing and labor shortage that we have as well, I think it's paramount and vital to find staff that takes pride in what they do, but also in return we need to reward them and recognize them for the work that they do put in as well. And the hospitality as a whole, is the trend is changing continuously, especially based after COVID, on the volatility of our people, and then how to better take care of them. And Omni seems to continue to stay ahead of that curve, which is amazing. So, from an opportunity standpoint, I'm often on LinkedIn. So best way to get in touch with me is LinkedIn. I'm always wanting to connect and network with anybody or anyone that has. I get a lot of people that reach out, interns and different up and coming leaders as well. I find it that it's our responsibility to give back. I've had tremendous mentors and people who have given me opportunities throughout my career. You have to work hard to earn it, of course, too. But without people giving you chances, you don't stand a chance. So I think it's important. So I'm very active on just being able to, if people reach out to me via LinkedIn, it's easy, and then I'm usually pretty quick to be able to respond. And as far as the Omni itself and staying, the Omni hotels, it's really, the website is the best place to go if people want to make reservation to come stay with us here at Omni Charlotte. That we always have great programming and promotions taking place as well. We have a great select guest loyalty program that is in place as well. So when people sign up and they get to the front desk, and I highly encourage them to sign up for, so that they get different loyalty perks. But that's the best way to come and see us.
Wow. Man, Hayato, thanks so much for giving us a few minutes of your time, man. We really appreciate it. We think you got a fabulous spot there in Charlotte. Obviously, like you said, you're right up the road from me, so I've got no excuse now. I've got to come up there and check out the hotel, which looks like it's going to be a fabulous experience, especially coming up on football season. So we look forward to hearing more great things about you there at the Omni.
No, great. Thank you so much, Ted. I really appreciate you having me on. I love your podcast. I listen to them, and then please do. You're just down the street, so I'll hold you to it, and I look forward to seeing you here.
All right. Hey, this has been another Ted's Hospitality Minute. Hey, remember, if you like the segments that we're bringing on, folks like Hayato and all of the great topics that we touch on in the hotel industry, please take a minute, like us on LinkedIn and follow us there, but also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This is Ted with Ted's Hospitality Minute, and we'll see you next time.